Morning, good afternoon, or whatever time of day. I don't know what time you're tuning into this, but it's a great day. It's a great day because you're here, you're alive, and you're listening to it. Give me a second. Let me get all the platforms. Everything good. Everything good. Come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Mic check. Mic check. Facebook, we alive. Facebook, we alive. Yes, we are. Come on. Come on. Mic check. Mic check.
There we go. There we go.
All right, cool.
Mic check. Mic check. We alive. Facebook. We
just reposting everything. Let's get it all together. As you can see, we're just doing a recap of what we've been discussing all week, which is all about consistency, folks. All about consistency. Giving you the blueprint, as I promised you at the beginning of this week, that you will have all your questions answered about what consistency is all about, how to maintain a level of consistency.
You will have all your questions answered about what consistency is all about, how to
maintain a level of consistency that you're proud of, that leads to the positive results and the things that you need to be doing. So first and foremost, let me just introduce myself really quick to anybody that may be new around here. My name, it's Aswan Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole framework, this whole mindset, this whole philosophy that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learned on the football field and aligning them with businesses and business owners so they have a staff and a group of employees that moves as efficiently, as proactively, has that eagerness, has that hunger to them, the same way that a championship high school or youth football team would have. That is what we teach around here. We translate that. All right. That is my superpower. That is the code that I've cracked, is teaching you as a business owner how to really form that cohesive staff, because what starts to happen, and the reason I want to make sure, if I'm on the record saying this as much as I possibly can, I want to make sure I explain to you guys, and even the people who have heard it before that might have forgotten, hear it again, damn it. All right, hear it again. The reason I make sure I make the point that I want their staff being like a championship youth or high school team is because the game is pure then. When you get to these collegiate level, when you get to the collegiate level and the professional level, it becomes a business. And now a lot of things, that the purity of the game is completely lost. You want your business running as if it was a championship high school or youth team, because the purity of the game at that stage. All right. So before we get into the recap, let me get through a few announcements here today as we move forward. First and foremost, business owners, make sure you do this right now if you have not done it yet. All right. freeguide.makeitmove.com. That is freeguide.makeitmove.com. Very simple. Put in your email, your name, your phone number, whatever business contact that's available for the public. Make sure you put that in, and you will receive a very easy to understand 10-step process in regards to how you can start to create this cohesion in your staff. I break it down into a very simple, easy to understand process, which is number one, you've got to establish your measurables. Your measurables need to be established amongst every single person. You have to create a professional distance. You put those two things together, and it will ultimately lead to the productive environment. Hear me when I tell you that. The productive environment. All right. The productive environment is exactly what you're needing in your workplace. So a lot of you guys have a lot of great business ideas, a lot of great opportunities. However, the productive environment is what you are lacking. All right. Next thing, for after you do that, if you're one of those business owners that has heard enough, you've done all your research on me, and you're like, look, I'm ready to just bring this guy in to come and speak and teach my staff how to bring that same energy to their work, just simply go to makeyourmove.com. You can You can get the free guide there if you want, but you can also book me to speak. You can learn more about what I'm all about. All the information is there on makeitmove.com. And also, if you are interested, you don't have to be just a business owner for this. If you are interested, I have officially opened up the boxing lessons, hands-on boxing lessons, selling them in packs of 6 for $150. If you are a member of my life group, in fact, let me just put it up here, free. If you're a member of my life group, free boxing lessons. If you're a member of the life group, you do get a discount on the 6 boxing lessons. So, you can become a member if you're local. I'm in the West Palm Beach area. So if you're local to that area, then you can become a member of the life group, and, you get a discount on the actual paid ones. Or if you're not a member, then again, it's just $150 for the 6 sessions, and we'll figure out how to schedule out those 6 sessions. So let me let this play real quick while we get things ready. This is what you're going to be looking like. Yeah. Go get that. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, man, those are some good times. Real good times, man. And then you see, again, if you're interested, you see all the consistent work I do and what I'm all about. It's all there, available in one Google search away, and you can do whatever research you need to do on me. It's all right there. You're speaking and listening to the most consistent person that you're going to find on the internet. You better believe that. All right. So as far as today's topic, let's get the banner up and let's get it going. We are recapping. We are just simply recapping, as we do every Thursday, just a recap on everything we have learned throughout this entire week. And it's important. I started doing this about a couple of weeks ago. And I do it because it's important when you are in the content creation game, or you have so much material out there. And when it comes to how I actually came up with the theme throughout the week, is because of something significant happening to me when it comes to Spotify, and how, like the Spotify, my podcast that I built for the past 5 years was taken down on Spotify because of the music that I used to put on it and all that kind of stuff. But understanding the fact that it was so consistent what I was doing that it didn't affect me as much. When you think about the importance of consistency, and actually think about what I spoke about. I spoke about this earlier in today's Move Swiftly Thought, is when you run into folks that are holding you back, or when you're in a situation, whether it's a work situation, whether it's a family situation, personal life situation, whatever the situation is, most of the time it is a work situation, because you don't really have much control over the way somebody else was raised and their mindset and all that. When you think about the folks that are always getting in your way, or always kind of blocking you from success, or you are in a place where there's always something, whether it's an idea you keep coming up with, whether it's a business, there's always somebody who has some bullshit to say to you and is always getting in your way. The consistency that you show up with to do your work. Notice I'm using my words carefully when I say this. You're not showing up to do your job. You need to be showing up to do your work. There's a difference. There's a difference between doing your work and doing your job. When you show up day in and day out to do your work, the consistency in the manner in which you do it should feel very natural. It should feel very natural that you're consistently showing up. Natural. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it should feel natural when you run into tough times and you run into very, very difficult situations. The work that was implemented in you and the things that are going to pull you out of whatever difficult times that you're going through, that should come as a natural thing. So I'll give you an example. One of the things me and my girl was talking last night, and I admitted to her how challenging, like how dark of a place I was in personally. So I live my life. There's this pillar I have. These 3 pillars I have. I call them the 3 Ps. All right. I call it the physically, professionally, and personally. Those are my 3 Ps, right? I call them the 3 Ps. And I think I've talked about it a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, just look it up. But just before I met her, my physical life was on point, professional life on point. However, my personal life, it was absolutely in a very, very dark place. I told her this last night, and then she asked me why, and it hit me that it was because, and I like thinking about it now because there's certain things I forgot to mention, but it was because when it comes to my physical and my professional life, so much of what I do on a day-to-day basis is about raising other families and helping other kids in their situations and listening to other broken people who have dealt with or who are living in broken home situations and dealing with other parents and dealing with kids, and to know that I'm giving so much energy and time and effort into helping with younger kids and a younger generation, to know that I didn't have anyone for myself. Like that personal life that I had, as my professional life was growing, I was not taking care of the personal side, and I was using my professional, my physical, progression to distract me from, making sure my personal life is where it needed to be. And I'm bringing all this up because there was a time where I was thinking back to when I got into the habit of doing this, and this started well over a decade ago when I remember I was working overnight at a gym named Spunk Fitness, and the thing about it, throughout the day I would be just dealing with rejection all day because I'm trying to pitch this. I was scouting high school ball. I was working for a scouting company, tried to start up my own company, and it was just a lot of rejection throughout the day that I don't have time to get into right now because I want to make sure I'm staying on point with the recap episode. Just stay with me, guys. I'm getting to a point here. But I remember during those times, and this was early 20s, when I was again spending my days just getting rejected and then having to go to a gym and work overnight. In order for me to get back up the next day, I would go on the treadmill every single day and run for a full hour, no questions asked. And that would always center me, always, no matter what happened throughout the day, no matter how difficult it was, I would just get right back into the center of things, and I'm good. I am 1000%. I was good after I took my run, and it felt natural for me to just decide. It felt natural for me to use the work that I was doing, the physical work and the ways I was improving. It felt natural. It was a natural thing. So I bring all that up to explain to you, your consistency is going to come from a place. Your consistency is going to come from a place where you are struggling, but you know that it's going to be a temporary thing because you're willing to do the work. Whenever you find out what the work is, whenever you find out exactly what the blueprint is, what it is you need to be doing, then you just focus on that thing and you just simply get better. So we started that with Monday. The Make Your Move kickoff question Monday, as we do every single Monday, was all about what are you consistent with? And if you're not familiar with how I do things, I put out a kickoff question every Monday, and then I answer the question myself, so I can be the example. I can be the person now that you can look to and say, hey, that guy did it. That guy put in his work. That guy went through some trials and tribulations to build something for himself and to build up a better life for himself. Then there's absolutely no motherfucking reason why I can't do the same thing. So spoke about, I'll kind of skim through the article as we get to Tuesday's top 5. So the inspiration, it actually came when I was with her. And we went to Church by the Glades in Coral Springs, and the pastor put up a slide in the church where it said in perfect continuity and consistency. And then that's when she hit me with she hit me with that little elbow nudge, like, hey man, hey, pay attention, put your ears to it, right? And then right there, I took out my phone, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, okay, I got next week's theme. So when it comes to what the two words mean, continuity and consistency, continuity is the unbroken and consistent existence or operation of something over a period of time. Consistency, acting or done in the same way over time, especially so as to be fair or accurate. All right. So here's the point I wanted to make sure I make to you guys as we move on. Consistency isn't always going to be a good thing. Consistency isn't always going to necessarily lead you to the result that you think it will be. All right. I'm reading directly from the article now. Just because you're consistent doesn't mean you're heading in the right direction. All right. J. Cole, all right, Love Yours, arguably one of the most thoughtful lyricists of our generation, once said, his favorite song, the good news is, nigga, you came a long way. The bad news is, man, you went the wrong way. You don't want to be consistently doing the wrong things. Hear me. You don't want to be consistently doing the wrong things, all right? You can be consistently lazy. You can be consistently negative. You can be consistently damaging to your health, your finances, your spirit. So no, continuity and consistency aren't always a good things. They are only powerful if you're walking in the right path. That is the point. That is the biggest point, is that. And in many times, in many situations, it's not even your fault. It's really what you saw growing up. It's really what you actually had to experience. Myself, when I answer that, when I think about a question like, what are you consistent with? My answer is my work ethic. All right. My work ethic from day one, no matter what the situation is. Anybody that knows me, anybody that has been around me over a period of time knows, hey, going to put in my work regardless. It might be wrong. I'm going to do things wrong. I'm going to make a shitload of mistakes. I will miss the mark on so many different occasions, but the work ethic is going to be there. You're not challenging my work ethic. You're not challenging what it is I intend and how much I'm willing to put in the work, but you can challenge and say, hey, just got it wrong. All right. So I know that because if you recall, a few weeks back, I wrote an article about my favorite coach I've ever played with. His name is Coach Brian Davis, and he drilled this acronym into us named WATER, which stood for the first word in that acronym is work ethic. The W stood for work ethic, and ever since he's drilled, the whole thing is work ethic, attitude, teamwork, enthusiasm, and respect. And ever since he has drilled that principle into me, and tons of young men that he coached, that is what I do. That is the thing that I've remained consistent with. All right. So that was Monday. We basically gave you a startup question. It's like, okay, that's Monday. And then as we normally do, we go to from Make and Move Monday. Then we go to Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 Tuesday in relation to the theme, in relation to whatever the theme is that particular week. All right. So let me. And Top 5 Tuesday this week was all about how to be consistent in life and in business. How are you going to remain consistent? I know you like that image. I'm actually going to be, this is going to be my 4th year in a row. They asked me back. I do the kidney walk. Shout out to Barbara and the kidney walk out there in Fort Lauderdale. That's actually Plantation Park that you see where I taught boxing lessons and where I initially started the boxing. So here's a cool part. Here's the cool part about it. So you see these images right here. Let me show you something. These images, all of these images that you see right here. Boom, boom. All of those shots. That was what I said, David, man. I'm happy for them. Man. They got a little boy, got a son now. But so all of these images were taken at Plantation Central Park, right? So the kidney walk that I do every year, it's at that same park. It's at that same park in Plantation Central Park, and it's absolutely one of the every time I'm around that park, I just get lost in just understanding everything. The gym that a lot of these people knew me from working at, that gym is no longer in business. It went under, and we would listen during those times. We tell people it's gonna go under because the owner was not that like aggressive marketer type guy. So I had to figure this shit out. Had to figure something out, though. Oh man, every time I see it, I go back to that time, man. But anyway, so the consistency that I use that image to express why the top 5 ways. If I had to kind of think about all the things that I had to live through and see throughout my life and throughout my career, my entrepreneurial journey, as they call it. These were the top 5 ways to remain consistent. All right. Number 1, period, point blank, you got to give a shit. All right. You have got to find something that you absolutely give a shit about. You really do. And you got to go deep with this, man. You got to go absolutely deep. You have to go deep with this. When I say give a shit, I spoke on the fact that I saw my father. He had a kidney failure. He had a kidney failure for my entire high. It started when I was in middle school, lasted all the way through my freshman year of college. All right, every single night in high school, I would hear that dialysis machine. Sometimes it would wake me up, and it's crazy to think about now. Seeing your father in a hospital bed and, going through that, and then knowing that his father, my grandfather, had the same issue, me working out and staying and keeping up with a healthy lifestyle, and kind of hearing him in my head tell me, look, I don't want to see you have problems with your kidney and all that, made me really, really give a shit. And as much fun as I used to have as a person that drank a lot of alcohol and got drunk and partied hard and all that kind of stuff, it was, thinking about him and thinking about the things that he lived through that made me say, that shit ain't worth it. You don't need to be out there drinking like that. There's no real end game. There's nothing there that's going to be beneficial to you outside of some, short-term bullshit where you're having a little bit of fun. So gave up the alcohol. That's number one. When I say go deep, I mean that specifically. I mean, you got to give a shit about something other than yourself. All right. Number two. So number one was giving a shit. Number 2 and 3, we'll do 2 and 3 together, because giving a shit and then holding yourself accountable to not do the things that are going to be detrimental to your success. All right. If you're consistently doing something and you're constantly getting a result that you don't want, meaning if you're consistently going out and having sex with someone out before you get married to them and you're not getting the results you want, you're not getting the long-term commitments that you want, if you're consistently going out getting high and you're forgetting your assignments, you're forgetting what time to show up to work, if you're consistently doing some bullshit that's not getting you to the places that you want to get to, you got to start holding yourself accountable first. All right. Holding yourself accountable first to say, I gotta own that shit. I gotta own it. I gotta own it. I gotta own it. I gotta own it and say I was wrong in regards to how I handled this. If you start owning your shit, then your peers are gonna help hold you accountable. Then you'll find the right peers. It works. That's the way it works. This entire list was in sequential order. It has to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, you got to give a shit. 2, you got to hold yourself accountable. And then number 3 starts happening. Peer accountability, meaning you hold yourself accountable. Then the people around you that you have close to you and that you bring into your inner circle, okay, now they're holding you accountable. And now you really can't, right? You really can't go on some bullshit. You really can't go like, speaking of my girl, I first met her. We were at a live show, and I ordered water. And she looked at me like, "Oh, you don't want no wine?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I've given up the drink and I'm done. I'm done with the alcohol. I'm officially going sober. I have not had a sip of alcohol since, there was one year, the year 2023 it was, where I spent the whole year sober, and then the next year I may have had a couple drinks here and there. This is my birthday. I had a beer, but I have not have been dry. I have not had alcohol, and I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. I don't need it, and it's one of those things where the peer accountability comes into play, because that was part of the thing that she actually liked. That was part of the process. I mean, we talk about it to this day, where like I had already given up on being this person that's going out and getting drunk every single weekend and partying and acting like everything is together when it's not, right? When you can't sit around talking about you want to be a success when every fucking weekend you at some club, kicking them back and acting like, no, that's not what I'm doing. All right. Everything has been 1000% all about work and how do you get better. Peer accountability is huge. And I'm using her as an example, but this is true even in just basic friendships and, people that you may work with and you may be close to. Peer accountability is absolutely the big thing, because self-accountability is going to take you only so far. Eventually, you're going to need peers to help you through those dark days, and they're going to be rough ones. They're going to be some really, really rough ones. All right. And that takes me right into number 4 and number 5. Give yourself some grace. All right. Give yourself a little bit of grace. This shit is not going to happen overnight. If you remember, go back to, so when LeBron, GOAT James, when he first came to the Miami Heat. Now I'm a Miami Heat fan, so I'm preferencing what I'm saying. Just know that I'm a Miami Heat fan. But I remember when he first decided that he was going to come and take his talents to South Beach, and they lost that first game to Boston, I think it was. They lost the first game to Boston. This is like in damn October when the NBA season just starts, and there's all this media, and it's like they were in Boston, so the crowd was crazy. The media was all over it because they couldn't believe that LeBron James, D Wade, and Chris Bosh have decided to join the same team. Like, it was so much of a damn media circus. And they were doing a press conference. This is crazy. A press conference after the first of 82 games. NBA season. Listen to me. The NBA season has 82 games. And LeBron, the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics had to do a damn press conference after the first game of 82. It's 82 games. It's not that damn serious, right? So anyway, the Miami Heat, they played horrible that game. Obviously, you could see where they needed to gel as a team because it was so new, even though they had these superstar players and stuff like that. You saw where things were just a little bit confusing. So anyway, LeBron goes on the podium. He gets at the press conference, and the first thing he says was, "We all know Rome wasn't built one day." And it was funny. The reason that it was a big deal is because the media took it and they made a big deal about it, because the Miami Heat did this huge celebration where LeBron was on some, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. He's talking about the number of championships. So he's like, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 6, not 7. He went and said not 7. He's planning on winning 7 championships in a row or something crazy like that. And they go and lose the first game. So LeBron's like, okay, Rome wasn't built one day. So he kind of changed his tone or whatever. I say all that to explain to you, look, when you're trying to do something great, when you're being consistent, give yourself a little bit of grace. All right. You're going to say some stupid shit. You're going to do some stuff that you look at it and you're like, all right, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I should have did that. And that's fine. It's part of the process. You're trying, mistakes are proof that you're trying to do something that is productive and worthwhile. And that takes me right to number 5. Success is not a destination. All right. If you go back and listen to Tuesday's episode, you will hear me really harp on this point. Success is not a destination. You will not, hear me, you will not get to the house, or you will not get to that number in your bank account. You will not get to whatever you fill in the blank, whatever you think is a success. It's not going to happen. There's no specific place you go to and you say that's a success. The success is in the committing to the journey. All right, committing to the journey, me committing to do these every single day, every single opportunity, and making the most out of this opportunity that I have to be at this school that's newer, and they've kind of given me the rope, or given me the reins to create my own thing while I'm still teaching here and all that. The success is in committing to the journey. There's no destination. There's no job. There's no number that you're going to see in your bank. Okay. There's no house, no dream home, none of that shit. None of it. None of that the fairy tale that the Walt Disney that they pitch to you over and over. Success is going to be committing your ass to the journey. Commit your ass to the journey, and that is the success. That's it. Period. Point blank. End of sentence. All right. So that was the top 5 Tuesday. And then yesterday, we dived into Wintrapreneur Wednesday, where I broke down how I've gone from podcast to platform, and because the wake up call, the next wake up call. So the first wake up call came from when my LinkedIn account got, let me just show you guys. When my LinkedIn account got hacked and I wrote this book to make sure I'm doing what I have to do. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Let's try to find something real quick. From there, a bunch of things. Yeah. So when my LinkedIn account got hacked, I decided to write this book. You know, I paid for coaching and all that, but I decided to write this book because I realized that just being on these platforms, you don't own any of it. You don't own the platform, and you don't want to build on somebody else's land, as they say. So as this kind of new thing, I was dealing with this new thing in terms of what was going on with Spotify and how they were at, like, oh, well, you know, because this is happening, because of the music I put on the show 3 fucking years ago, now it's a problem now because of copyright issues and all this other stuff, which is fine. Because all of my material is original content. It's not going to be anything for me to just take the material. It's going to maybe take a couple of weeks, but it's not going to be anything for me to take the recordings that are already out there and already saved to my hard drive and just put them back on a feed. That's not going to be that big of a deal. But the fact that it happened made me really put a focus on going from podcast to platform and my ability to do that. And as you can see, I asked ChatGPT actually to create a chart of the difference between a podcast and a platform. First of all, the people that the people that I look up to and I listen to every single day, Andy Facilla, Alex Hormozy, Dre Baldwin, Anton Daniels, Brandon Tatum. One of those 5 people, I'm tuning into something that they've said every single day. There's not one day that goes by in which there's not something I grab from them that I learn and I try to, you know, put it into my own style and all that. But here's a chart, a very easy to understand chart about the difference between a podcast and a platform. All right. Podcasts, really just a one-way broadcast. Just a one-way broadcast. They don't have multi-form content. They don't have community spaces. You don't own the relationship that you have with your audience. And when it comes to revenue streams, it's mostly through ads. And we know people advertise based on how many people are showing up. And when you're talking about people just showing up and followers and likes, these folks are more so interested in drama and entertainment and stuff like that. And I'm all about selling education. So workshops, speaking courses, merchandise that puts out a positive message. As you can see, there's a whole lot more of a benefit to building a platform than it is building a podcast. All right, that's the difference. So I closed it out with Move Swiftly is my home. MakeItMove.com is my headquarters. And I'll close you guys out just with that concept alone because of throughout the week. And I challenge you, I encourage you, I've been encouraging you and explaining to you that throughout this entire week, that as long as you're staying consistent, then something positive, consistent in the right way, something positive is going to happen to you, but you have to remain consistent. Tomorrow, look out, we're going to be doing, as usual, we're going to be doing our faith-based Friday where we're going over the message from Life Church. I cannot wait. Pastor Craig Rochelle, he brought somebody else in to speak, to give a sermon. So I cannot wait to dive into that. Then we have film session Saturday where we're finishing out the Texas or Arizona State game. Then Stay Hired Sunday with my good friend Kimberly Blue. Then we're back at it. All right, listen, I already have the theme and ready to go next week. It's all about public alignment. So just get ready for that because we got the College Sports Commission. College football is like, you're just going to blink. It's like a blink, 2 or 3 blinks away. And college football is back, baby. So you already know. And I'm back ready to go. And I haven't really gone anywhere, but still, when college football is back, it's a different season around here. All right, it's a different season. So we're gonna dive into that as well. Just stay tuned. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel. We're coming at you full blown day in and day out. We do not take days off. That's not what we do here. Not when you're walking in your purpose. So everyone out there, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.